Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering a new show. It's currently streaming on Netflix, and it's Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. In support of me, please like this video, and also subscribe to my channel if you are new. And if you're hiding in the bushes, come out from where you are and get plugged in. And you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into this new hot series that I need to tell you about. Okay, I'll just give a little preface. I know people do shy away from Tyler Perry because they don't feel like he has content worthy. A lot of his content can be repetitive and all this other crap. I get it, I understand it. I was a fan of the Haves and Have-Nots back in the day and loved it up until like season 4. Then I realized that the writing was just, I don't know what happened. And I hung on because I was a committed fan thinking, okay, it's going to get better. It didn't. And I stayed even until the finale because of how committed I was. And the series finale pissed me off. I just want to say this. I watched Beauty in the Black. There's 8 episodes right now that have been released. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It took me to the episode 2 to really get into this series because I was trying to figure things out in episode 1, and it seemed like episode 2, we are put on a journey. It was just like stuff was put on the wall, and then you try to see what is this all about. It's not until episode 2 that you start getting some clues as to how everyone is connected to one another. So I am someone that likes to convince people that, hey, you should give this a chance, put a spotlight on a production. I don't want to force nobody into it, but I would highly recommend you guys check it out for yourselves. Don't go by what Twitter is saying right now, because they have an agenda right now. I'll just say that much. And if you're hate watching, why watch it? That is so crazy. And then you want him to change his material, but because of you guys who are hate watching and try to bring a mob along with you to hate on him, all you do is make his numbers really large, and that still puts faith into the systems or the platforms that he's allowing his material on. So that doesn't make sense to me. I'm done with preaching. Let's get into the series. Again, it's called Beauty in Black. Just to give you a description of what this show is about, a stripper's fate takes a turn when she crosses paths with the wealthy, dysfunctional family behind a cosmetics dynasty and a devious trafficking scheme. So we meet Kimmy, who is, you could say, the lead, one of the leads. She's in a awkward situation right now with this guy named Roy. We don't know his name, but I got to give names to these characters because everybody didn't have a name, but we were seeing them show up on the screen in episode 1. So basically, Kimmy is supposed to satisfy Roy sexually, but he's not, and he ends up kicking her out. She's a stripper, but when you actually see what's going on, it's some type of prostitution ring that she's been forced into. That's a cover for a strip club. This strip club is quite foul because they keep the majority of the money, and the women can make all the money, and they just get scraps of whatever they do make from being strippers. In order to make more money, they have to satisfy their men clientele. And that includes, there's also male strippers there too. I think they're more like bartenders, but they dance or whatever. There's one in particular, but some of the men want men. So just to give you a little taste of what's going on. But Roy is just treating her quite bad right now and kicks her out. So there's this convention that's going on for Beauty in Black. This is the actual cosmetics company. They created this hair care line that's really successful. The series is based out of Chicago, just to let you know that. I'm glad that we've gotten past just everything being in Atlanta or New York, possibly DC or LA. There's got to be something. Somebody got to be doing something in another city and state. And shout out to Chicago. I'm from Illinois, so hey. Of course, I'm going to root for things that are in the Midwest and especially in the Illinois area. So Mallerie Bellemare, I think that's the name. She's the face of the company. Just to get you familiar with who Mallerie is, now the actress is played by Crystal Stewart. Did anyone back in the day on TBS when there was a spinoff from Why Did I Get Married? And I'm trying to remember what the series was called, TBS, but it still had Tasha Smith and the actor who played Marcus in Why Did I Get Married was on there. Well, she was one of the actresses that was featured on that show. And I'm trying to remember what that show was. I'll probably just put it in the video and you can see what it was. But I don't think it was for To Have and Hold, but something to that nature. But it was like another marriage series. It was on TBS back in the day before he got on OWN and all that. Tyler Perry. It was Tyler Perry show. The person that plays Kimmy, her name is Taylor Polidor Williams. And there's a couple people I recognize from some of the other shows that I have reviewed on this channel who's really making their strides up in the world, and I'm going to shout them out pretty soon. But anyways, at this convention that the Beauty in Black is hosting, they're giving out 5 scholarships to go to beauty school, and also $1 million to a lucky person that submitted something or whatever. We get a little rundown of Mallerie once the convention starts. She's married into one of the richest families in Chicago. Her foster mom put her into modeling, but her foster mom had other foster children that she favored over her. However, when she was 9 years old, her father-in-law, which is one of the Bellinaires, I think that's how you pronounce the last name, found her and said, that's the one, as far as I guess modeling. Because that's what I was a little bit unclear about, like, what did this guy actually do to her at 9 years old? It sounded a little bit, what happened? Anyways, she got connected with that family, and her current husband, Roy, they started dating at 16 and got married at age 22. She did help in working out with the company that they do possess now, but she said that she didn't just want to be a face, she didn't want to get a check, and she wanted to be paid in equity. Now, the host is over there. Now, here's my only thing about that. I'm trying to figure out what it is. And you mean to tell me that this audience just knows and they're just clapping? Oh, equity, not a check? Like, they could have went into that a little bit more. And maybe, I'm just saying for TV show purposes, it probably couldn't have been explained that way. Hopefully during that convention, they actually, said something or shared something about that, because it's like, now, how many black folks really know anything about getting paid from equity? Like, come on. So, the next scene is at a strip club. Kimmy is hanging out with her friend, Rain. Rain, who is portrayed by the actress of Amber Rain Smith. Amber Rain Smith had been featured on Tough Love Atlanta. I did cover that. She was Jackie on there. And also, she's on Complicated Atlanta. That was another series I did cover. Both of them were web series. One is on Tubi, which is Complicated Atlanta. Tough Love is on, I said it in my reviews before, but it's a subsidiary of TV One and also on YouTube. Tough Love Atlanta, and you'll see her on there. So shout out to Miss Amber. Okay, so we go to the strip club. There's another girl there, Body. Body is trying to push Rain to getting a BBL in order to get more money from these dudes that come in to see her strip. Rain kind of has this concept like, look, I'm not going to be nothing more than a hoe. And it's like, that is so sad. And she's trying to push that agenda off on Kimmy, but Kimmy has more ambition. She did sign up for one of those scholarships for Beauty in Black. She doesn't know if she won or anything of that nature, but she wants to follow her dreams. She wants to do more than the stripping mess that's going on. So Body is the head chick in charge, and she does whatever she has to do to make people submit unto her. My description of her is a Natalie Nunn of the strip club world. Think she's head in charge and think that she got to call these women itches and nobody's going to take her place and nobody's going to check me. Kimmy's a little bit more radical, so she will kind of get nuck with these folks that are trying to make her, trying to beat her into submission. Anyways, that's the one. Body made a comment to Rain like, it looked like she really Kimmy's got an attitude. And Rain's like, no. But it looks like I got to get her in check and get her in line. Kimmy at the strip club has a VIP customer, and they told her to get to it and don't come out without any money. She goes up to the VIP room and she meets this older guy. I'm giving you his name now. We don't know his name until I think episode 3. or 4 or whatever, 2, 3, or 4. But his name is Horace. Kimmy's dancing, but she sees that he's not really into her, and he's looking at this male guy out there. And she said, well, I see what you really want. I'm not making you happy. Horace gets upset. And the male guy that he was looking at is this guy named Angel. We'll learn a little bit more about him in just a few minutes. So Horace gets upset and throws the money at her, and he leaves. At this point, Body is getting mad. Like, what did you do to make him not want to get danced on or all that? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't do anything. Da, 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 da. They end up calling Jules. Jules is the head guy out of this whole organization, which is really some type of trafficking type of organization for these women. Says that Kimmy has to leave and go someplace else and has to come back to the club after she's done over there. Where she has to leave to, she has to go back to Roy. And I'll talk about Roy in just a minute. So, we get back to the Beauty in Black convention, and we see that a woman named Diane Jackson, who has like 3 or 4 children with a baby, wins the $1 million or $1 million. Of course, she's excited because now she can get her salon up and rolling. Mallerie takes the baby like she's Miss America and is such a humanitarian. The baby is there and she's calm for a few minutes, and then she starts crying and she spits up on Mallerie. We see her be a little uncomfortable, but tries to save face. But we see the looks at some of her team that's in the back that's looking at her like, ooh, I know something is wrong, blah, 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 blah. She makes this joke of, well, now that you have all this money, and what the money you're going to make, you're going to buy me a new dress. It's a couture dress. Jules wants to speak with Kimmy before she leaves. She goes outside, and Jules is like, look, I chose you because you are smarter than all of these other hoes, or 304s, if you want to call them that. But you know, if you're going to keep on trying me and defying me, I can make you disappear in the Lake Michigan. So we're seeing that Julius is the head pimp, and quite crazy when it comes to these women. But they do everything they can to intimidate and to scare these women into submission, and it's quite crazy. We all of a sudden get this flashback from Kimmy. Kimmy is younger, and her mom is arguing with this dude. It looks like this dude been making passes at Kimmy. He says it's her that's been coming on to him. And basically said, don't let this come between us and her, da 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 da. We get another flashback of her mom taking her and dropping her off at what looks like a Walmart. And saying, you gotta go. You're 17, almost 18, you got to go. Because he's not gonna have it. So this dude has been pushing up on your daughter, and I have a question about this, because it seems like she just pushed her out for this man. But did she, the mom, think that kicking her out of the house was a way for her to protect her from this man? She gave her like $10 or whatever and told her to get out. She had nowhere to go, didn't have nothing going on with her life and all that good stuff. She has a little sister at home. I don't know what age she was, but anyways. It's one of those situations you're like, okay, you just gonna push her out for some man, really? So I don't know if she was protecting her daughter or really just didn't get the ish about her daughter and wanted to save her relationship with this man. We find out episodes later on that she's still with this man. So Jules threatens Kimmy and tells her, we get back to real time, if she doesn't make Roy happy, he's going to F up her face. I said, Lord Jesus. It's one of them type of situations. So Kimmy goes up to see Roy. Shout out to the one that's portraying Roy. His name is Julian Horton. He played on Tough Love Atlanta. I believe he's played in season 5 and also season 6. That's currently streaming on that platform. I did tell you gotta go back to my Tough Atlanta reviews that I did do. But yeah, I'm happy for both him and Amber for this step up. So she comes back to Roy and just says, I'm ready now. I'm ready to do. I was bad. Like, basically, she has to submit and says that she was the one that effed up and I was bad and I wasn't doing what you told me to do, but I'm ready to do this. And then Roy is like being very intimidating, saying, look, I just need you to be my relief. I need you to do everything that I effing tell you to do. Da, 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 da. The things that my wife cannot do for me. And then he says, all I got to do is give Jules the word. and you'll be sent back to jail. We're going to get another flashback, but I believe that's a little bit later on. And it was some type of drug scheme that we'll get into a little bit later. And then he asks Kimmy, who's got the power? And Kimmy says, you do, Daddy. And then next thing you know, he pulls her in, makes her get on her knees, and then wants to be serviced down below. I'm keeping this kind of censored for YouTube purposes. So Mallerie, after the convention is over, she is greeting the fan supporters, signing autographs and all that good stuff. And then she runs up upon a lawyer that's serving her papers. Beauty in Black is being sued for causing, there's cancer within the relaxers that they've been selling. So, of course, she rushes along to get to her car, and then she starts yelling at the driver. His name is Calvin. Calvin, who is portrayed by Mr. Shannon Wallace. Did anyone see Daria from Detroit? It's currently streaming on BET Plus app. Very good show. Very good show. I suggest you go watch that, but that's where he's from. He did another movie for Tyler Perry that had Megan Good in it that was released a couple months ago on, I think it was Amazon or Netflix. I forgot what it is. So anyways, she's yelling at him, saying that she never should have got this close, the one that was serving the papers. She also has this assistant with her, and she is going off. Like, why in the world did we give $1 million to this black woman that I know that she smokes crack? I said, Lord, a way to stigmatize people that you think are less than you. She gives you that Veronica Harrington type vibe. I'm not going to say it's exactly like her because, look, Veronica had her limits because, A, she was on OWN and couldn't say all that mess. Possibly if she was on this type of network, she could be doing all this cussing and being very disparaging like Mallerie was going in. So all of a sudden she tells Calvin and the girl to get out, the assistant. And they're like, what? Get out. She takes the car and she drives off in it. So now, Rain, she's getting her BBL done. It's done in a very ghetto way. And the technician that's doing it, her name is Daga, being portrayed by the one, the only, T.S. Madison. And Body is giving her a bunch of liquor to get her to not feel anything. Daga said that Rain is not going to feel anything and to just get ready for it. We're hearing all this horrific music. I'm kind of glad that this is coming out because I think that some of y'all need to hear the horrors of getting these BBLs from these off-the-wall technicians. Rain was short money, but Body said that, she's good for it. Get her that BBL and she'll make it up and give you everything, But she said, look, this is not going to stop. This got to stop. I need all my money up front, da-da-da-da-da. But Body said, you'll get it, da-da-da-da-da. So she does the procedure on her. Roy and Kimmy, they're having sex, but it's not really working out for him because he can't really get up. My guess is that he's at the point, I don't want to say impotent, because of the drugs that he's taking. He's a heavy drug user. But of course he blames her. So then he runs off into the bathroom. We get another flashback of Rain and Kimmy. Kimmy's in Walmart and she's crying or whatever. Rain finds her and says, come out. They're going to lock up and they're going to find you. They go hide in what I call a Walmart. We didn't actually see the sign. I'm sure they didn't want to get sued or anything. But the how can I say this? Walmart. Let's call it that. The Walmart. So they go hide out and they wait until the store is closed. And then they go frolicking around the store. Kimmy. Then we get back into the Kimmy and Roy room. Roy is in the bathroom. I think he's taking a shower at this point. Kimmy calls his wife, Roy's wife, who happens to be Mallerie, the one that's doing all this Beauty in the Black stuff. Puts the phone on speaker and calls out to Roy and says, come back into the room so we can F-U-C-K. He comes back and they start having sex, and then she moaning really loud and all this stuff. Mallory's hearing all of this stuff during this rainstorm, and all of a sudden she hits someone. Mallerie stops and she goes to look to see what's going on, and then she ends up leaving the person there. I said, Lord, what? What in the world? So then Kimmy, she goes back to the motel that her and Rain are staying at, and that's where the BBL was administered, and she sees how the BBL is looking, and it looks horrible. She's trying to wake up Rain, but she's not responding at all. So it's a mess. So that's all I do have. It takes you on a journey. We're going to get into more. I promise you that. Please stay tuned. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to do. There's 8 out right now, and I want to pace myself It's not my fault that these are 8 episodes that they drop at one time. I may do them all this week, or I may do a couple for the next couple weeks consecutively. I don't know yet. But hopefully you all stay tuned. Now, thank you all for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe, and also leave your comments below. Until the next one, peace.